What's going on, family? I just want to make a video about how currently the millennials are dropping the ball, just like how the baby boomers dropped the ball, how the Generation X dropped the ball, and now I'm seeing that a lot of, I would say most of the millennials and Gen Z are dropping the ball. Now, one thing about baby boomers currently, my observation about them is that they're very clueless. They're oblivious. They don't really put in any effort to understand new technology. They'll understand the current time that we live in. They still have this, they call it the boomer mentality. Go to college, get in debt, get out of college, get a job, work 60 hours a week, save your money. You know what I'm saying? As if that's really gonna, nothing wrong with saving money, but that's not really gonna get you like wealth if you save money. Because when I was growing up, nobody taught me about investing. The only people that were taught about investing were people who were privileged. People who grew up in the upper class, family, rich family or whatever. Those are only people who are taught about, investing. They're taught about the stock market. They're taught about buying property, things of that nature. But during my upbringing, that really wasn't even a thought at all. I was never taught about, being an entrepreneur or anything like that. And one thing about baby boomers, they think, just like I said earlier about going to college, get a job, working long hours, 40, 60 hours a week, save your money, retire, get a pension or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, but we come into a time where that's going to become obsolete. Because, back in the old days, a man could work a regular job and support a wife and a family, have a mortgage. But currently, in this day and time, you gotta have like, if you have a family, you gotta have like the mother and the father working, you know, make ends meet to pay the mortgage because the price of everything's sky high. With the, we got inflation, wages not going up. So you know what I'm saying. So that the age old advice that we were taught, back in the 80s when we were growing, the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all that, rhetoric that we were taught doesn't really apply. And the only people who are gonna like survive are people who think outside the box. It's the people who keep up with technology, get ahead of it, you know, find a ways to make money off it. We live it pretty much going back to the old days before, back in the old days, it's all about entrepreneurship. You hustle, you grind. So you're going back to that. You can't really rely on a job. And it's always good to have like more than one streams of income. You can't just have like one job, but that's it. You always got to have something outside of your job, even if it's like a small part-time job, or just have a little business on the side. Making money, and but thankfully with the YouTube, back in the day before the internet, a lot of this information wasn't known. But thankfully, we got YouTube channels of people who are basically rich teaching people, the ins and outs, the technical know-how, the step by steps about how, to be financially independent. And I took a lot of that advice, and my finances are way better than they were a few years ago. I'm not rich yet, but I got excellent credit, not perfect credit, but I got like really very 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 good credit. I got a lot of money saved up. You know, I can pay my bills on time. I got money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I never haven't been in a hole in a long time, and all of that is due to just like watching videos like Minority Mindset. People like George Gammon. You know, Grant Cardone. I mean, there's so many people out there that I watch on a regular basis that like give like very very good financial advice. And I used to watch Grant Stevens, but I can't stand him anymore. I can't stand. I can't. There's like a lot of people I used to watch all the time, like Meet Kevin. I think I unsubscribed to him. I unsubscribed to. I think I might still be subscribed to Graham Stephen, but I haven't. Like I don't watch him anymore. It's like a lot of people I watch, but it's just like reason why I stopped watching them because they add even though it's like the old videos that put out good financial information, but they're so caught up with emotionalism. It's like if the stock market goes down, they make a video like I sold everything, it's over and stuff like that. I'm like I don't want to hear stuff like that. I just want to hear the technical know-how ABC because he cannot put emotionalism together with finance. You just can't do that. So that's why I stopped watching a lot of people. But I still watch just Preet Singh, Minority Mindset. I watch him. Um who's the other this is other lady, Diane Keel. I know butchering her name. Uh what I'm saying I forgot her name, but I watch her. I've watched her in a while, but I used to watch her a lot. And I still watch crypto channels every so often. I like Wendy O, people like that. Altcoin Daily's okay. You know, Cryptos Are Us with George. Yeah, that's a good channel. What I'm saying they're pretty much honest. They keep it honest with you. But going back to the main topic about like baby boomers and millennials and Gen Zs and you know, baby boomers advice is outdated, and how the reason why the millennials are dropping the ball because for one they're easily offended, two the thin skin, they pretty much swallowed this whole liberal doctrine of emotionalism, victimhood, stuff like that, and they're not forming families, they're not getting married. Now it's got to a point that they don't really date anymore and everything. And I'm just like, how can you be a human being and not have a sex life, especially if you're young? Because back in the old days, like going back, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like 20 years ago. I'm talking about since the beginning of civilization, whatever. People started families, early, and you had like kings and emperors, people like they're like in their 20s, conquering empires, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And by the time they're like in their 30s or 40s, they're considered old. They're probably already grandparents by that time, and that was normal. And you can just go back a couple generations. What I'm saying? 'Cause I know my grandparents. They had 9 children. And that was like normal. Back in the old days, they have like a whole bunch of children, but now it's the whole idea of having 1 or 2 kids or no kids from the grand scheme of human history, that's really not natural. You know what I'm saying? And there's different reasons why, because it goes back to being selfish. A lot of people are selfish, especially women, but that's a whole other topic. But millennials are on the ball because they're emotional, they're insecure. You know, what I'm saying, and that's like the whole thing of being SJW, a victim, all this kind of stuff, and they're so caught up with social media. You know what I'm saying? Want to get social validation. That's another big issue and everything. So, and my theory is that the whole woke culture, the whole thing about being woke, that's something that's like a torch that was passed down by the baby boomers to the millennials to like keep up the construct of the matrix, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? So this whole thing about being woke, even though on the surface they claim to be about justice, whatever, it's really a smokescreen to keep the system running. So like when the baby boomers go 6 feet under, 6 inches under, 6 inches, 6 feet, whatever, in the ground, you know what I'm saying? When they start pushing daisies, whatever, then you got these woke people still living, carrying the torch of the system to keep the system running. So that's just my theory on it. And like I say, I just want to share my opinion on that. But if you have any input and want to share your opinion on that, feel free to like put it in the comments below. Agree or disagree. What I'm saying? I'd love to like get your feedback on my thoughts. And that's all I've got to say for that. And until the next time, peace.